Hello, everybody. My name is Brett, and welcome to this 30-minute slow and stretchy yoga class. It is a wonderful class to do after a workout, or if you feel you want to loosen up parts of the body and just feel really good. Throughout class, I'll be using a prop, and I have a block, as you can see. But you can use a blanket, a pillow, or anything else, a cushion. It really helps to support you through class. And lastly, as we move through class, just remember, if the poses don't feel good, then back off, and you can come out of the pose totally and rejoin whenever you're ready. All right, let's get started and feeling good here. So we're going to start out on our backs, and you can bring the feet flat on the ground, about as wide as the mat is. And have the knees bent and gently let the knees fall in together and touch. And if it feels good, you can bend through the elbows and make cactus arms with the forearms and top of the hands resting into the ground. In this nice, relaxing opening pose, take smooth, deep breaths, every breath nourishing the body. And on the exhales, imagine releasing a little tension from some of the parts of the body that are tight. A couple smooth breaths here. Again, on the exhales, just releasing some tension, resting down a little deeper. And now we're going to gently bring the knees up into the chest and give yourself a squeeze. If you would like, you can do small circles with the knees so you're massaging out the lower back. Whatever you do, make it feel good here. We're trying to feel good and open up parts of our body, so be gentle at first. And on your next exhale, you let the feet gently come down to the ground, knees are bent. Coming into figure 4, so bringing the right ankle to the left thigh, and you're bending through the right knee, so it's making a figure 4 shape. Flex through the right foot, direct the right knee forward, and if it feels good, you bring the left foot off the ground, grabbing behind the left thigh and gently pulling it towards you. Keep flexing through the right foot and directing the right knee forward, but be gentle here, keeping the breath smooth. On your next exhale, release the left foot down and the right foot follows, switching sides now. So the outside of the left calf comes to the right thigh, making a figure 4 here. The left foot is flexed, the left knee is bent. And you can stay here, or you can bring that right foot off the ground, grabbing behind the right thigh and gently pulling it towards you. Keeping the left foot flexed and the left knee directing forward, taking big breaths into this nice sensation in the hip. Again, reminding you, if you need to take a modified version of the pose, not bringing the right foot up is totally fine. And now releasing, both feet come down, feet flat on the ground, knees bent. We're doing 3 bridge flows. So the arms come alongside you, the palms push down into the ground. And on your next inhale, gently float the hips up a couple inches, maybe 6 to 8 inches. And on your exhale, gently lower the hips down. Do 2 more of these as you inhale slowly and smoothly, raising the hips up. And as you exhale, nice and gently floating them down. Do 1 more round with your breath. So on the inhale, the hips float up. On the exhale, the hips float down. Be smooth and sweet here. Once the whole back body is on the ground, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then gently roll onto the left side here, using the right hand to help push you up, coming into a seated pose. Cross legs, or Sukhasana, is the recommended pose. You can sit on a block, a blanket, a pillow. But if this doesn't work, you can always sit on your knees here, or you can also sit in a chair if you need to. Wherever you are, sit up nice and tall. And do 3 shoulder shrugs. So on the inhale, the shoulders come up and shoulder blades squeeze on the back. Exhale, the shoulder blades float down the back. Inhaling, shoulders up and back. Exhaling them down, releasing tension. Do 1 more with your breath. Big shoulder shrug. Releasing tension on that exhale. Finding that nice length in the spine, sitting up tall. We're going to bring our hands to heart center here. Palms come to touch. You're going to clasp your hands, interlacing the fingers. And on your next exhale, push the palms forward as the head drops and the spine rounds. Take some nice big breaths into the back body and shoulders, a nice stretch there. Reach the palms forward as much as feels good. And on your next inhale, the torso rises, the hands reach up. They may only come up a little bit, or they may reach straight up towards the ceiling or sky. Wherever they are, take a big breath in. And on your exhale, release the hands and they float down to the sides. On your next inhale, the hands are going to come back up to heart center, palms touch. Keep the breath nice and smooth here. And then you're going to clasp the fingers once again. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, palms push forward, head drops and spine rounds. On your next inhale, the hands raise up high as you can, opening through the shoulders. And as you exhale, the hands float down to the ground. Let's do 1 more round. As you inhale, hands to heart center, fingers clasped. On your next exhale, palms push forward, drop the head round the spine. As you inhale, the hands float up as high as feels good, trying to open up through those shoulders. As you exhale, the hands float down to the mat on both sides. And then on your next inhale, the hands come up and reach out to the sides like you have a big wingspan here. And then you're going to bring the thumbs down, wrap the fingers around the thumbs. And on your next exhale, the knuckles point towards the ground like you're pouring 2 pitchers of water out. This is a stretch in the forearms. So just a little longer here, pointing those knuckles down. On your next inhale, you open up the hands, the palms reach out to the sides. And you're making a fist now, so all the fingers come in and then the thumb wraps around. Making a fist, pointing the knuckles down to the ground. This is a stretch in the forearms again, just a different part of the forearm. So take nice deep breaths here, keeping them slow and smooth. And we'll do 1 more wrist stretch. So on your exhale, the hands come down, and you're going to bring them in front of you, but the fingers are going to face you. But start by just bringing the fingers down. And on your exhale, gently bring the hands towards the ground. The palm of the hands may not even touch the ground, that's fine. It's a stretch in the fingers and also on the insides of the forearms. So take 1 more big breath here. Feeling the nice stretch on the inner forearms. And then on your next inhale, come back up. The torso lifts. Feel through the hands. They come to the knees. And then we're going to transition here onto tabletop position. So that's your hands right under your shoulders. Your hips are right over your knees. So it's like hands and knees, tabletop. Take some nice smooth breaths, pushing the fingers into the ground. And then we're coming into child's pose. So you bring the big toes to touch and the knees come wide. You sit the hips down towards the heels, letting the head drop down and the hands reach forward. You're melting the head and heart down with every exhale. And if this doesn't feel good, you can always bring the knees come in to touch and bring the arms alongside you, reaching back. That's embryo pose. Just a little longer, releasing the head and heart down with the exhale. Moving slow and steady through our practice. On the next inhale, the torso comes up. You come back into your tabletop shape, so the knees come in under the hips, hands right under the shoulders. Now we're tucking our toes here. And on your next exhale, you're going to shift the hips back into downward facing dog, but have a nice bend in the knees. In down dog, we direct the heels towards the ground. They may not come to touch, that's okay. And we have a nice bend through the knees, feeling a stretch in the back of the legs here. But don't forget about the hands and fingers. Push those fingers down into the mat, dropping the head. And now we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet, keeping the knees bent, but in a nice big forward fold here. The feet are going to come wider than the hips. We're coming into ragdoll, so bend your elbows and clasp opposite elbows here, releasing the head, the neck, and the jaw. You can sway side to side. Remember, we're releasing tension on the exhale, so let the head drop. Stay nice and relaxed in ragdoll just a little longer. And now release the elbows, the hands come down towards the ground. As you inhale, it's a halfway lift, so the back lifts up halfway, the hands come to the shins. It's like you have a flat back here if possible, like you could set a cup of tea on the back. Pushing into the shins, lengthening the spine all the way through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, fold back down, release, forward fold. Now walk those hands towards the front of the mat in your downward facing dog again. Feeling that nice stretch in the back of the legs. Have a slight bend in the knees. Again, don't forget about those fingers. Push them down. And on your next inhale, have a nice bend in the knees, look between the hands. And on your exhale, gently step your way to the front of the mat in a forward fold, releasing the head. On your next inhale, halfway up, the hands come to the shins. Strong back. As you exhale, fold down and release the head. Your next inhale, you come all the way up to standing. Sweep the hands up high, reaching them up. And as you exhale, hands come to heart center. Make sure those shoulders are away from the ears, dropping down. And take a smooth, deep breath. On the next inhale, float the hands up high, reaching them up. And on your exhale, fold forward, slight bend in the knees, release the head. As you inhale, you come up to a halfway lift, hands come to the shins, a slight squeeze of the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, the hands come down, you step the right foot to the back of the mat and the back knee drops down. The toes untuck, you push through the top of the foot, and as you inhale, the hands reach high in a high lunge. Feeling a stretch through the front of the right hip here. You can bend deeper into the front knee, but be gentle. And reach the hands up, but don't strain the shoulders here. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, shine through the heart. It's cactus arms, so a slight squeeze of the shoulder blades, broaden through the collarbones. And as you exhale, the hands come down to frame the front foot. Now we're moving into a half split here, so you may want to grab one of your props. Or if you have two, have one in each hand. They frame the front foot. And on your exhale, you're going to shift the hips back, start to straighten through the front leg as much as you can. You can have a nice bend in the knee there, but flex the foot so the toes are directed towards the shin. And you're folding over that left leg in a half split here. Now keep a little focus on the back. Just don't slump over and have a bad posture. Keep a little strength and length in the back. As on the exhales, you're folding a little deeper over that front leg. And as you next inhale, bend through the front knee. The hands come to frame the front foot, so you're back in a lunge. Now you're going to tuck the back toes, bring the back knee off the ground. And as you exhale, you step forward to the front of your mat in a forward fold. On your next inhale, halfway lift, the hands to the shins, a slight squeeze of the shoulder blades. And then let's do the other side. So hands come down, the left foot steps to the back of the mat, back knee drops. Untucking the toes, push through the top of the back foot as the hands reach high. Now, this is a stretch in that front left hip, and you can bend deeper into the right knee, but be gentle. Reach the hands high, but don't strain the shoulders. Keep them relaxed. And on your next exhale, you're going to bend through those elbows, cactus arms, the palms face forward. A slight squeeze of the shoulder blades as you inhale to shine through the heart. And as you exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot. We're moving into the half split. You may want to grab your props. And on your exhale, you're going to shift the hips back, starting to straighten through the right leg as much as you can. You could have a big bend in the knee. Flex through that right foot so the toes are directed back towards the shin. And then every exhale, you fold a little deeper over the right leg. But start out at like 70% of the stretch and gently go deeper in. Again, you're not slumping over in the back, so keep a little bit of attention back there. Just a little longer, half split. And you're going to inhale to bend through that front knee. The hands come forward to frame the front foot, tucking the back toes, coming up off the back knee. And again, as we exhale, we step forward into our fold, releasing the head down. On the next inhale, the hands come up, it's halfway lift. As you exhale, fold forward and release the head down. And then as we inhale, we sweep all the way up to standing. The hands reach high to the sky. As you exhale, hands come to heart center. And again, take a nice smooth breath here. Now still moving in slow motion. As we inhale, those hands reach high to the sky, reach them up, up. And as you exhale, fold forward, a slight bend in the knees. On your next inhale, halfway lift, the hands come to the shins, a slight squeeze of the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, the hands come down. You're going to step the right foot to the back of the mat, but this time keep the back knee off the ground. Now you can bring a prop to the right hand here, because as we inhale, we're going to reach the left hand high into a twist. So if you feel like you need a little more length in your right arm to feel stable here, use your prop and reach that left hand high. As you exhale, the left hand comes down, the hands frame the foot. Now we're dropping through the back heel, so the outside edge of the back foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. And then coming up into warrior two, so the torso comes up. Now you're opening up through the left hip, the left knee is right over the left ankle. The left hand reaches forward, the right hand back. And you don't have to go too deep into this. This is a little more of a strenuous pose, but keep it nice and smooth. And as you inhale, straighten through the front leg, reach high. As you exhale, back to warrior two. 2 more times, inhaling, straightening through the front leg, reach the hands high. Exhale, warrior two, be smooth and graceful. Next inhale, hands reach high, front knee straightens. Now bring the left toes to face the same direction as the right toes. So we're in a wide-legged stance, reaching high. And on your next exhale, you fold forward. This is a wide-legged forward fold. Letting the hands come down to the mat. The toes of both feet are facing in the same direction. And you're releasing the torso down, letting the head, neck, and jaw relax. Keeping the hands on the ground, keeping you steady. And And on your next inhale, we're coming up halfway here, so hands are on the ground. You come up to a halfway lift. Now the left toes face forward to the front of the mat. The hands come around to frame that front foot. You come up onto the back toes, so you're in runner's lunge. As you exhale, the back knee comes down, untuck those toes. Now the left foot comes to the outside left edge of the mat. Left hand comes on the inside of the left foot, so both hands are on the inside of the left foot. The foot can face a little out, so the toes can face towards the top left corner of the mat. And then you're bringing the torso down, bringing the forearms either onto your prop, maybe onto the ground. And if your forearms, if it doesn't feel good, just keep the hands on the ground. You just want to release down into this fold. Really, it's a big opening in the left hip and a stretch in the left hamstring. So take nice, smooth, deep breaths. Every exhale, release the head down. Release some tension there. And if it gets too intense, you can always bring the torso up. Let's get out of this deep stretch nice and slow. As we inhale, the torso comes up. You're walking the left foot back in a couple inches, and the left hand comes in the outside of the foot, so the hands frame the foot. Come up onto the back toes, back knee comes off the ground. And then you step forward, releasing down into your forward fold at the top of the mat. On your inhale, you halfway lift the hands to the shins. As you exhale, the hands come down, release, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Reach those hands high to the sky. Lengthen the side bodies. Exhale, hands to your heart, and take a smooth, deep breath here. Taking a moment to feel how the left side may feel different than the right, but don't worry, we're going to balance it out. As you inhale, sweep the hands up high, reaching them up. As you exhale, you fold forward into your fold. We're doing the other side here. So as you inhale, that halfway lift comes, hands to the shins, slight squeeze of the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, the hands come down. You step the left foot to the back of the mat, this time keeping the knee off the ground. Now you can bring a block or prop to the left hand and reach that right hand high. Twisted lunge. Gently opening through the right shoulder, reaching the hand high. And as you exhale, that right hand is going to float back down, so both hands frame the front foot. Now we drop through the back heel, so the outside edge of the back foot is parallel with the back of the mat. And then on the inhale, we come up to warrior two. So you're opening up through the right hip. Right knee is over the ankle. Right hand reaches forward, left hand back. We're going to go through some flows here. So try to do them smooth and sweet. On the next inhale, you straighten through the front leg, reach the hands high. As you exhale, bend through the front knee back to warrior two. Do this like a dance 2 more times. As you inhale, straighten through the front leg, hands reach up. Exhale back to warrior two. Your last time with your breath, inhaling, reaching the hands up, straighten through the front leg. Now the right toes face the same direction as the left. You're in a big wide-legged stance, reach up high. And as you exhale, fold forward into your wide-legged forward fold. Hands come down to the mat. Release the head, neck, and jaw. And if your feet feel stable here, like they won't slip, it's an option to bring the hands behind you, clasping through the fingers, and let the hands gently fall forward. It's a nice shoulder stretch here. It's like you're wringing out your shoulders. But if your feet don't feel secure, don't do that. Either way, drop your head, release through the neck and the face. On your next exhale, if your hands are clasped, bring them down to the mat. Your next inhale brings you halfway up here. And then you're going to point those right toes forward, come up onto the back toes. The hands come to frame the right foot. and the back knee drops. Now you walk the right foot to the right outside edge of the mat. Right hand comes on the inside of the right foot. And you can face those right toes a little out to the top right corner of the mat. And as you exhale, you release the torso down, the forearms come to your prop. Or maybe all the way down to the ground if that feels good. Do what feels good, about 70% of your stretch. And gently release in a little more with each exhale. We never want to go past about 85 to 90%. So once it feels good, just stay there, release the head down. On your next inhale, gently bring that torso up. Walk that right foot back towards the center of the mat, and now the hands frame the right foot. Come up onto those back toes, back knee is up off the ground. Step back into a plank pose, and then bring the knees down. Coming into our child's pose once again, the big toes come to touch, the knees are wide. The hands reach forward and then melt the head and heart down towards the ground. The sit bones are directed towards the heels. You're melting the head and heart down with each exhale. Hopefully feeling good. We're almost completed the class, so just stick with it. Stick with that smooth breath as you inhale, coming up. And then bringing the knees in. We're coming into a seated position. So just bring the sit bones down, the feet come forward, and the knees are bent. Feet are on the ground, reach the hands forward. And as you exhale, gently come all the way down to your back with control. And once you get down onto your back, you're going to bring the knees into the chest and give yourself that squeeze once again. Make it feel good. Then we're going to do some hip opening circles. So the left hand is on the left knee, right hand on the right knee. As you inhale, the hips or the knees come up and the knees then come out to the side. As you exhale, the knees come down and then together. As you inhale, the knees come up and out to the sides again, making big circles here. And as you exhale, the knees come down and together. The insides of the knees touch. And let's do that one more time. So inhale, knees come up and out to the sides. Exhale, knees come down and together. Make these as big or as small as feels good to you. Now next time the knees come up, we're coming into happy baby. So the bottoms of the feet face the sky or ceiling. You can grab the backs of the knees or the bottoms of the feet, whatever feels good for you. And you gently pull the legs down to the ground with every exhale. This is a nice stretch in the hamstrings, maybe in the hips as well. It's called happy baby for a reason. You can rock a little bit. And on your next exhale, release the feet. The knees come back into the chest. Give them a nice squeeze. And as you exhale, the feet come down to the ground. We're coming into our last pose. So this is Supta Baddha Konasana, also reclined butterfly. The bottoms of the feet come together and the knees come wide. It's a nice opening through the hips. And if you like we did at the very first pose of class, you can do cactus arms, bending at the elbows and letting the tops of the hands and the forearms rest down on the ground. Take some nice, smooth, deep breaths here. Every exhale opening up through the hips and the shoulders. Releasing everything down. Breathing smooth. Resting in this pose. Now bringing the hands around to the legs, helping the knees come up. And gently rolling onto that left side, using the left arm as a pillow for your head. Using that top arm to gently bring you back up And let's meet in a seated position on your mat. You can sit on your prop. You can sit in your chair, whatever you want. Just a little something to close out practice. The legs can come crossed, sitting up tall. Hands come to the heart. Take a moment to feel your body. Hopefully it feels nice and relaxed. Take a nice big deep breath. And as you exhale, the head bows down. Thank you so much for practicing. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. And namaste.